Hope you had a good evening, and I hope that you had time to read over that handout that I gave you about our different color theories. Great, so you want to remember that we are going to talk about our primary colors and our secondary colors and our intermediate, or also known as tertiary colors. So kind of let's talk about those primary colors. What are 3 primary colors? Right, so those are red, blue, and yellow. And can anybody give me a definition of what a primary color is? Absolutely. So you just want to remember that our primary colors are our purest pigments. So those are colors that cannot be created by mixing 2 colors together. But if we have our primary and our primary colors and we mix them together, what colors do we get? Right, our secondary colors. So we mix our primaries and our primaries together, and that makes our secondaries. So then those secondary colors, what are those colors' names? Absolutely. So those are colors like green, orange, and purple, right? Great. So if we mix our primary and our secondary together, what do we get? Absolutely, our intermediate colors. So those are going to be things like yellow, green, blue, purple, purple, red, red, orange, and so forth. So it's going to give you a broader spectrum of colors. So I like to view the color wheel as a type of graphic organizer. It's more of like an artistic version of a graphic organizer that can be referred to as mapping. So everything is kind of derived from those primary colors. So our 3 primary colors are going to be the stars. So if we look at our example here, we have our 3 primary colors, right? So those 3 primary colors, all the colors are based off of those 3. So they can be expanded through adding different whites and blacks to mix our tints and our shades. So these are just kind of like the founding fathers of colors. And then adding other colors to our primaries and secondaries and adding white and black to get different tints and different tones and intensities will give you all these different colors. So I like to look at this as a artistic graphic organizer, much like mapping. So everything is going to be based off of these 3 colors here. So what I'm going to show you now is how to start by taking our primary colors and then mixing them down with other primaries and then primaries and secondaries together to make our tertiary colors. And this will kind of give us that bones about color theory and how to make our colors and those simple, easy steps of mixing colors, and then it can get really advanced after that. But we just want to kind of learn those foundations of color mixing off of our artistic graphic organizer. All right, so now we're going to work on our color wheel worksheet. This is a version, I would say an artistic version of a graphic organizer that includes mapping. So we're all starting with a center circle here, and this will be our color or our hue. And all of our other colors are based off of this, and all these colors then relate to back to being a hue. So we're going to start with our primary colors. So if you can remember from our discussion earlier that our primary colors are colors that cannot be mixed. They are naturally made. No 2 colors together can make our primaries. So our primary colors are what? Right, so they're red, blue, and yellow. So I'm going to start by doing red. So I'm just dipping in my red paint. Okay, and I'm going to paint that in my circle here, which is labeled as our primary color. So I'm just going to fill that in. All right, and then our next primary color is what? Which one is our next one? Great, so it is blue, correct. So we are going to fill in blue in this circle. Okay. I'm using watercolor paints, so I just want to make sure that I don't have as much water because I want a nice dark pigment. I'm going to fill that one in for blue. Then our last primary color is, right, it's yellow. So now I'm going to dip into my yellow paint and fill that in here. Wonderful. So now we have our yellow primary circle here. All right, so if you can remember back from our discussion earlier that our secondary colors are created by mixing our two primary colors together. Okay, and what are our secondary colors? Right, so our secondary colors are green, orange, and purple. So if we mix yellow and red together, we get our secondary, and that secondary color is what? Absolutely, so that is orange. So I'm going to fill in our triangle here, orange. All of our triangles here are going to be our secondary colors. Very good. Okay, and then our next section down here, we have our primary blue and our primary red. If we mix those two colors together, what color do we get? Absolutely, we get purple. All right, so I am going to make our purple. Very good. Okay, so our last two primary colors, we have blue and yellow make. Yep, absolutely. So that makes green. So we are going to fill in our triangle here for our secondary color as green. Okay, so next we're going to do our intermediate or tertiary colors. So those colors, if you can remember from our discussion earlier, that those two colors are what is produced when you mix your primary and your secondary colors together. So if our primary is yellow and our secondary is green, our tertiary or intermediate color would be yellow-green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of yellow and put that in my box. Okay, and then I'm going to put green with it to make our yellow-green. So I am actually just mixing these colors together rather than picking a color from my paint pan to make our yellow-green. All right, so then our next secondary color and primary color, so we have green and blue. That would make a blue-green. All right, I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I am just going to put a little bit of green, a little bit of green in my box here. And then a little bit of blue on top of it. Mix those colors together, and that is going to make our green, blue, and also kind of be like a teal color. Put a little bit more blue in there. Okay. Very good. All right, so next we're going to mix our next primary color here that we have is blue. And then our secondary color is green or purple. And if we mix blue and purple together, we are going to get a blue purple. So I am going to start by putting a little bit of blue in my box. And then a little bit of purple. Mix those two colors together. And we are going to get a purpley blue. Okay, and then our next set, we have our secondary color purple and our primary color red. If we mix those two colors together, we're going to get a red purple. So I'm going to put a little bit of purple in my box. And then a little bit of red together. And this is going to make our red purple, which makes a really pretty kind of magenta color. Okay, then we go to our next section. We have our primary red and our secondary orange. If we mix those two colors together, we're going to get a red-orange. And do the same thing as I did before. I'm just going to put a little bit of red in my box. And then I'm going to mix in orange with it to make my red-orange. And then my last set of colors here, we have our secondary orange and our primary yellow. If we mix those two colors together, we're going to get a yellow-orange. So we are going to put in a little bit of yellow here. That black is just coming from the ink from the printer. And then a little bit of orange to go with that to make our yellow orange. Yeah, okay. So then you would want to label all of these with the types of colors all the way around it. And if you mix all these colors together, you are going to make a gray or a brown. So we're just going to do that. I'm going to put a little bit of green and a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange, a little bit of red, a little bit of purple, and then lastly, a little bit of blue. Maybe a little bit more blue. Okay. And look, if we mix all those colors together, it makes brown. Okay. So as you mix these colors down by adding colors like white or black, with those colors you can make your different tints and shades. So lastly, you just want to label these as the colors that they are named. So just give me 1 second and I'll do that. So we will start with our primary, which is yellow. Next primary, red. Next primary, blue. Then our primary plus primary will make green. This primary and this primary will make orange. And then this primary and this primary will make purple. All right, and then we are going to do our tertiary or intermediate colors where our primary and secondary color together makes red, purple. And then we have red, orange. Then we have yellow, orange, and then we have green, yellow, or yellow, green. And then we have blue, green. Then we have blue, purple. Okay, and then all those colors there mixed together will make brown. All right, so there's our quick introduction to color mixing with primary and secondary colors.